welcome back to my channel. It is of course Chelsea of She Designs Things. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing the differences between an integration, a plugin, and an embed. So if you've ever been confused about those terms, then keep on watching. So go ahead, grab your favorite snack or drink, and let's just go ahead and dive in. So let's start with the basics. The first thing we're going to discuss is integration. So an integration is like a backstage pass. It connects two or more tools or platforms so they can work seamlessly together without requiring manual input. Think of it as a way for different systems to talk to each other and share data automatically. So here's how an integration works in real life. Take, for example, in automation. An integration can automate repetitive tasks. For example, connecting Google Forms to Google Sheets ensures every form submission is automatically logged in a spreadsheet, so you don't have to manually copy and paste the information over. It also allows for data sharing. Integrations allow data to flow between systems. For example, connecting your email marketing tool like MailChimp with your CRM like Salesforce means your contact list stays in sync across platforms. And then you also have your unified user experience. Integrations enhance user experience by bringing everything under one tool. So, for example, integrating your e-commerce store with a payment processor like PayPal or Stripe ensures customers can check out without leaving your website. Up next, we're talking plugins. So a plugin is a really powerful tool. A plugin is a software add-on that enhances a website or application by adding extra features without needing to modify the core system. Think of a plugin like an app for your website. It helps you do more without coding everything from scratch. Let's say, for example, you want to add SEO optimization tool to your website. You would use an SEO plugin like Yoast SEO. If you need to add a contact form, you would install a plugin like WordPress Forms. And if you want to add more security, you would add a security plugin like WordFence. Plugins are most commonly used in content management systems, CMS, like WordPress, Shopify, and Wix. This is why I always say your Google site is not a content management system. It doesn't host or house the content that, let's say, you're used to when it comes to such as, a system like WordPress, Shopify, or Wix. Those are content management systems, which allow for plugins and integrations. All right, let's get into embedding. My favorite thing to talk about, to be fair. So an embedding is a simple yet powerful way to bring external content into your website. When you embed something, you're essentially taking a piece of content like a video, a form, or a map and displaying it directly on your website without having to recreate it. Think of embedding as putting a live window or like a live tool or service on your website. It's not copying the content, it's simply borrowing the live feed of the content. So, here's an example like YouTube videos. Instead of uploading a video to your site, you copy the embed code from YouTube so that visitors can watch the video directly on your website without you having to host it. So you can't talk integration, embeds, all of that without mentioning an iframe or an API. So basically, what is an iframe? An iframe, which is short for inline frame, is a tool that allows you to display another website's inside your website. It's like a window that shows content from another place without actually affecting the structure of your website. So you want to think of an iframe as like a picture frame hanging on your wall. The frame holds the picture, but the picture itself is not a part of your wall. It just kind of sits inside of it. So some examples of this would be like if you want to add a YouTube video to your blog, well, you could use the YouTube iframe embed code. See what I did there? This also happens with Google Maps. It's basically displaying anything that is not native to being inside of your actual website. And then, of course, what's an API and how does it work within all of this? So an API is like that messenger that allows two applications to talk to each other. It enables data sharing and functionality between two different platforms without exposing the underlying code. So it's that middleman. So basically, you know how if you place an order, say on DoorDash or on Uber Eats, you know, you're placing the order through that platform, which will send that request over to the business that you're ordering from. The business that you're ordering from will then hand off the food to your DoorDash delivery service provider, and then the food will arrive to your house. But see how it was a middle person that you went in between rather than going directly to, say, the actual restaurant. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, it's basically exactly that. Sometimes these topics are really difficult to explain, and so I want to make it easy to explain. Now, before I start breaking down what each item is and why you can't use them or why you can use them in Google Sites, I want to cover something that I don't see a lot of people cover, especially when people are deciding on what platform to use. That's the difference between your CRM and your CMS. So you're going to see those come up quite a bit. Especially when it comes to, okay, I want an integration, I'm looking for a plugin. You know, you have to know what those are in order for you to decide if a CRM or a CMS is going to benefit you in your business. So what is a CRM? A CRM is your customer relationship management software. It focuses on managing all interactions with your customers. It centralizes your customer data, such as the contact information, communication history, the sales opportunities, anytime you get a support request, basically everything you need to run your business. That's more like on the back end or the back side of things. It's not your forward facing content. It's simply your back of the house, sort of behind the scenes, sort of content. Now, a real world example of this would be like, imagine a concierge at a luxury hotel and they keep detailed notes on each guest's preferences and past requests. Like, this would be the personalized service that ensures that every guest feels valued and receives tailored recommendations. A similar CRM tracks customer details to provide personalized engagement and to improve sales outcomes. So now, what is a content management system? So your content management system is designed for creating, managing, and publishing digital content. It's mainly for your websites. There are content management systems that do operate for social media, but we're sticking to websites for now. So it allows non-technical people to update your website, organize your content like your blog posts, the images, the videos, your product pages without needing to learn how to write code. So a CMS ensures that your online presence is current and visually appealing and easy to navigate. So you're thinking about your WordPress, your Drupal, your Joomla, your Squarespace, your Wix, your Shopify. All of those are content management systems. And you do have content management systems which also offer customer relationship management as well. Now, there are some core differences between these two types of software. So their core differences are going to be their purposes. So the CRM manages customer relations, your sales pipelines, your technical interactions. The CMS publishes your digital content onto website. That's your forward-facing content. The primary users will also change, just your sales, marketing, anything that's like a team of customer service, something that is more back end. And then you have your content creators, marketers, and web designers. That's going to be your CMS. The data types will also change. So you'll have their contact information, interaction history, any sales analytics. That's all going to be done by your CRM, and your CMS is going to be your web pages, your blog posts, your images, your videos, and other digital assets. This also changes with your functionality. So a CRM will offer features like lead tracking and workflow automation and customer segmentation. Like, those will be done by your CRM, but the CMS provides tools for content editing, publishing, template customization, and SEO optimization. So it's just a matter of A lot of times people don't realize you might need both a CRM and CMS depending on what your business does, what types of services it offers, or if it offers any services. But most businesses will need both a CRM and a CMS. All right, so when it comes to these tools, you do have a lot of options when it comes to your Google sites, but you are limited. So let's compare the plugins, the embeds, the integrations, your APIs and iframes, and I'm going to use different real-world examples and explain their relationship to Google sites and why you can or cannot use them inside of a Google site. So first things first, let's talk about integration. So here's a real world example. So you would consider like your smart home, let's see, the thermostat, the lights, the security cameras, they all work together via a universal remote control. They share data and operate in harmony without you needing to control each device separately. So let's talk about it in a Google site. So a Google site offers limited integrations. And here's why. It integrates smoothly with Google Workspace. You have tools like Analytics, Drive, Calendar, and Docs. However, advanced integrations with third-party applications like a full customer relationship management often require workarounds. So Google allows you to integrate with their own products that they have created. Now, you can integrate Google Analytics to track visitor data, or display a Google Calendar for scheduling events on non-Google websites, obviously. And so for non-Google tools, you might need to use custom code or third-party services like APIs in order for you to connect that data to your website. And that is not just a website on Google site, but a third-party website as well. So a plugin. Now, on your screen, you see I have written out the definition, the example, the customization or code required. Under the plugin option, you do see yes under customizations, but I want you to understand that plugins are not 1,000, 10,000, 45,000, 6 million times. They are not available in Google sites. So imagine like a coffee machine. It brews your coffee on its own. But if you want to make like, let's say a cappuccino, you would have to have a milk frother accessory or an external milk frother in order for you to make a cappuccino. So the accessory extends your coffee machine's functionality without altering its basic operation. And you know, if you've ever seen one of those really big Keurig machines that have that attachment, then you know what I'm talking about. Now let's talk about it in relationship to your Google site. So it does not support plugins. And why? Because your Google site is what we call a closed system. Yes, finally, a closed system. So without a marketplace for add-ons, like the frother accessory, you can't embed anything. You cannot install a dedicated SEO plugin like Yoast on your Google site. So you've really got to rely on Google's products like Google Search Console to optimize your website. And you really have to know how SEO works in order for a Google site to benefit you. Because if you don't, then you are definitely going to be coming up short when it comes to creating your actual website using a Google site. Now, because Google doesn't allow for plugins, they do allow for embeds. So an embed example, picture frame hanging on your wall that displays like a beautiful piece of artwork that was created by a different artist, like not yourself, but an artist somewhere that you bought the painting from. So the frame itself doesn't change the fact that the painting is in there. It simply just shows the painting within your home. So embeds in Google sites are supported quite well because it allows you to display external content without changing the core functionality of a Google site, which is why you can't add, what's it called? The Facebook tracker. You can't add it to Google site because that would require you to have access to the core functionality of a Google site. And you don't have access to the head or the header code for Google sites, so that is not possible. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Now, Google does love for you to use their services, which they do have a plethora of services. So you can easily insert like your forms, a Google form, Google Slides, Google Sheets, anything that starts with Google, they love it. You can do it with external embed code. Sometimes you do have to have a workaround if the code that you're looking for doesn't exist. Like if that programmer didn't create a code for it, or if they only require APIs. So that can become a problem for your Google site if it doesn't actually exist. So your APIs, your application programming interface, I want you to picture a translator at a busy international conference who relays messages between speakers of different languages. This translator ensures that each party understands the information without needing to learn another language. So APIs can be used in Google Sites, but indirectly. So although Google Sites lacks that built-in API support, you can incorporate an API or API data by using custom code, by using app scripts, which is how I like to use my codes, is by doing it in app scripts, which will then connect to a Google Sheet. And then you can embed those into your Google site. Now, it's a workaround. I don't like doing it that way, but it can be quite beneficial if you don't care for the look of your actual Google site. Like if you really want to make a change, creating an app in AppScript is definitely the way to go. Now, Google Sites supports iframes, but I want you to understand, have you ever tried to put an iframe in a Google site and it's like, nah, can't display? The reason for that is a lot of times there are security risks associated with iframes. Some of the more prominent ones that would stop a program from accepting you like having that iframe in there is like clickjacking. So an iframe can be exploited by attackers to overlay malicious content over your web page. This would be tricking users into clicking on something different than what was actually intended, and that could be a serious issue for your website and for people who go to your website. Do you also have cross-site scripting, which is an XSS, X as in X-ray, SS, so Sam. So if an iframe loads content from an untrusted source, it might execute that harmful scripts that can steal cookies or session information, which would violate the end user who's visiting your website. And then you also have the loss of control over the external content. So since the content is inside an iframe and it's hosted externally, you don't have control over its security practices. If that external site is compromised, your page could serve harmful content to your visitors. So always make sure you are checking your iframes. And just so we're clear, inside of your Google site, when you embed something, that is your iframe too. It's a little complicated, but I need you to understand that those are the two things you definitely want to make sure you're paying attention to. And then of course you also have like your clickjacking defense bypass. So some websites have HTTP headers, like your X-frame options, to prevent their pages from being embedded in an iframe on other sites. So if these headers are misconfigured or bypassed, it could expose users to clickjacking risk. So these are issues that underscore the importance of careful consideration when you're deciding to embed content with iframes, ensuring that you only load content from trusted sources and apply additional security measures when it's necessary. All right, so to wrap it all up, I do hope that this all makes sense. On your screen, I have just the same topics listed. Feel free to screenshot it so that it makes sense to you. It's just plugins, embeds, integrations, APIs, iframes, and whether or not you can use it on a Google site, how it's supported or how it's not supported. And just keep in mind, there are so many tools and options out there for you to use. But I hope this helps you in making a decision on what program you want to use, because I find that a lot of people are confused on what it is that they need for their business. So hopefully this will help you understand what you need for your business so that you're able to make an informed decision and don't get locked into something that you may or may not need. So hopefully by understanding these differences and you can see their real world counterparts, you can better decide how to either enhance that Google site or go somewhere else entirely. So if you would like more specific tutorials on how to implement any of these methods into your Google site, just feel free to leave a comment down below. And of course, as always, I don't know how to end these things, so see ya.